Can a function call itself? It may sound impossible, but yes, it can. Today, you'll learn one of Python's most interesting concepts, recursive functions. Hello everyone, welcome back to our Python function series. In today's video, we'll understand what a recursive function is, how it works, and why every recursive function must have a base case. Let's get started. A recursive function is a function that calls itself. Instead of solving the entire problem at once, it solves a small part of the problem and then calls itself again to solve the remaining part. Why do we need a base case? If a function keeps calling itself forever, the program will never stop. To prevent this, every recursive function must have a base case. The base case is the condition that stops further recursive calls. Let's understand recursion with the help of this program. In the first line, def countdown n, we define a function named countdown. It receives one parameter named n. Now look at the next line, print n. This prints the current value of n. Next, if statement. This is our base case. Python checks whether n has become 1. If the answer is yes, the next line, return, immediately stops the function. No more recursive calls are made. Now look at the last line inside the function. This is the recursive call. Instead of calling another function, the function calls itself. But notice something very important. It doesn't call itself with the same value. It calls itself with n minus 1. That means the value keeps becoming smaller. This allows the program to finally reach the base case. Let's do a dry run of the code and see what happens when we call countdown 5. The function prints 5. Since 5 is not equal to 1, it calls countdown 4. Now it prints 4. Again, 4 is not equal to 1. So it calls countdown 3. The same process continues. Eventually, the function reaches countdown 1. Now the base case becomes true. The return statement executes and the recursive calls stop. Let's take one more example of recursion program. Let's understand this program carefully. In the first line, we defined a function named Factorial. It receives one parameter named n. Now look at the next statement. This is the base case. Python checks whether the value of n has become 0. If the answer is yes, the next line, return 1, will be executed. You might wonder why it returns 1 instead of 0. That's because mathematically, factorial of 0 is equal to 1. This is a standard definition of factorial. Now look at the most important line. This is the recursive call. The function keeps the current value of n and multiplies it by the factorial of the previous number. Each recursive call reduces the value of n by 1. Eventually, n becomes 0. The base case is reached and then Python starts returning the values. Let's do a dry run of the code and see what happens when we call factorial 5. Python doesn't calculate the answer immediately. Instead, it creates a chain of recursive calls. First, it is factorial of 5, which is equal to 5 multiplied by factorial of 4, which is equal to 5 multiplied by 4 multiplied by factorial of 3, which is equal to 5 multiplied by 4 into 3 into factorial of 2. Next is 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into factorial of 1. And next is 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1 into factorial of 0. Now the base case is reached. Since factorial of 0 returns 1, Python starts returning the values 1 by 1, which is equal to 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1 into 1. That evaluates to 120. So the final answer printed is 120. Notice that the recursive calls happen first and the actual multiplication is completed while the function calls are returning after reaching the base case. And remember, every recursive function has two important parts: a base case, which stops the recursion, and a recursive call where the function calls itself. So that's all for today's video. Today we learned what a recursive function is, why it calls itself and why the base case is essential, and how a recursive call works. I hope recursion doesn't seem mysterious anymore. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe and press the bell icon so you don't miss any upcoming Python tutorials. Thank you for watching. Happy coding.